New Pork City is just way too big. At least with Hyrule Temple, they filled out the stage with mostly solid platforms that were laid out pretty well, occupying space and not letting it go to waste. But here, the entire top half of the stage has hollow platforms, and they have such a poor layout that this stage is mostly empty. Therefore, it takes much longer than it should to take out your opponents unless you use a cheap ricocheting technique on the bottom half of the stage. Also, that pink devil looking thing is an instant death trap. Once it bites down on you, it deals a ton of damage and causes you to fly directly out of the stage. Yeah, also because the stage is too big, you'll know how to avoid it easily. Sure, there's these limousines that drive in once in a while, but that really doesn't make up for how poor of a stage this is.
4!
When counting down the worst stages in Melee, I talked about how bad of a concept vertical scrolling was in Icicle Mountain. Unfortunately, Nintendo decided to bring this gimmick back again in Brawl with Rumble Falls. Yeah, this is even worse than it is in Icicle Mountain because you start at the exact same point in the stage every time. This means there's little to no variety. And now, the stage will tell you when it's going to speed up. As I've said before, once the speed increases, fighting no longer matters. It's all about who can get away from the bottom of the screen faster, which means characters that have really good recovery like Luigi are going to be much better. The only way you'll be able to fight is by getting a quick hit on your opponents if they come close to you while you're trying to recover. Oh, and you know what else pisses me off about this stage? This spike. Did you just see that? There's no reason for a hazard that is introduced early on in the stage to be that powerful. Especially in Classic and All-Star modes. You can just throw Diddy Kong or Donkey Kong at that thing, and they'll die. I'm sorry, but that is easily the worst part of this stage, and why I hate it so much.
3!
Another poor concept with Brawl stages was retro stages. Stages that were based off of levels from old school Nintendo games. When I said I liked Mushroomy Kingdom, I meant the overground level. The underground level is exactly what I don't like. Right off the bat, you're given 5 item blocks. Overkill much? Plus, there's a ton of other blocks and platforms that get in your way. The entire top of the stage is blocked off by a wall of bricks, so don't even expect to star KO your opponents on this stage. Plus, these bricks right here will actually get in your way, so you have to break them in order to stop yourself from running off the left side of the stage. Because, of course, this is horizontal scrolling. Not as bad as vertical scrolling, but when the stage is this crowded with bricks, it actually becomes really difficult to take out your opponents. Thus, the battles drag on much longer than they have to. And if you do KO your opponents, chances are they'll get stuck on the top of the stage thanks to the wall of bricks. The only part of the stage where you have a chance of star KOing your opponents is near the end when you reach the lifts. Yeah, I know that they're trying to duplicate the second level from the original Super Mario Bros game, but it doesn't translate to be a good stage in Super Smash Bros Brawl. I really wish they just used the overground level for a Mushroomy Kingdom stage, because this overcrowded mess of a stage could really be done without.
2!
Not this stage. Seriously, did they really have to bring the original Mario Bros stage into this game? The platform layout is ridiculously generic, and the overview really isn't anything special. But what really pisses me off is how overpowered the shell creepers and sidesteppers are. Seriously, if you run into them, they cause so much knockback that they could possibly KO you. It's even worse if you throw this at your enemies. Thus, you could possibly take them out with only one shot. In previous stages that I mentioned, battles would drag out for far too long due to the fact that the stage is either large or overcrowded. Here, battles are much shorter than they should be because you can easily take out your enemies using these overpowered creatures that crawl through the stage. And whatever you do, don't let them sit on the stage for too long because, just like in the original game, they'll become much faster and harder to take out. This may be a fun stage for time battles due to the fact that you can get a ton of KOs on your enemies. But for the much preferred stock battles, as I've said before, the battles will take much less time than they should. But despite the fact that this stage is very bad, this next stage is probably the worst in Super Smash Bros. History.
1.
This course is just a joke. 75 meters has got to be the worst Super Smash Bros. Stage to date. First off, Donkey Kong is ridiculously overpowered in this stage. You just have to get your enemies to touch Donkey Kong, and they're pretty much a goner. Also, his springs are overpowered as well. They can KO opponents easily. Like that. Seriously. Do I have to say more about this stage? Well, I will, since I'm pretty much obligated to. The platforms are semi-hollow, meaning that you can jump through them to get to a higher platform, but you can't duck through them to get to a lower platform. So if you get stuck on the top platform, where Donkey Kong can possibly kill you, you have to walk off the right edge of the platform to get below it. Plus, it really doesn't make sense that you can't duck through a platform, yet you can still use a ladder if you're standing over it. Why couldn't they just make the platforms hollow and the ladders could just be scenery? And don't even get me started with the size of this stage. Seriously, this might just be an even bigger stage than New Pork City. The platform layout really doesn't help either, with very small platforms that are quite spaced out, except for on the right side of the stage. There's very little room for fighting, as usual. 75 meters pretty much has every bad aspect for a Super Smash Bros. Stage. It's a retro stage that's way too big, has a terrible platform layout, and an instant death trap. That is why it's the worst Super Smash Bros. Stage ever.